in the silence of the Egyptian desert. There are names that were never meant to be spoken again. Names carved out of stone. Faces smashed from statues. Memories buried beneath sand and fear. One of those names belonged to a pharaoh who did something no ruler had ever dared to do. He declared war, not on men, not on kingdoms, but on the gods themselves. His name was Akhenaten, and for a brief, terrifying moment in history, he tried to erase the divine order of ancient Egypt. Before Akhenaten, Egypt was not ruled by men alone. It was ruled by gods. Thousands of them, gods of the sun and sky, gods of death and rebirth, gods with animal heads and human bodies, woven into every part of daily life. Amen, Osiris, Isis. The Nile rose because the gods allowed it. Crops grew because the gods were pleased. Kings ruled because the gods chose them. And standing between humanity and the divine were the priests. They controlled the temples. They controlled wealth. They controlled knowledge. And in many ways, they controlled the pharaoh himself. The pharaoh was not a god killer. He was a servant of the gods. Until one man refused to serve. Akhenaten was not born a heretic. He was born a prince. His original name was Amenhotep IV. Amen is satisfied. Even his name honored the most powerful god in Egypt. As a child, he lived surrounded by luxury, ritual, and expectation. But unlike the warriors before him, Amenhotep was different. He was quiet, introspective, obsessive, and above all, he watched the sun. Day after day, the same burning disk crossed the sky. Visible, unchanging, impossible to ignore. Unlike the old gods hidden in temples and myths, the sun could be seen by everyone. And slowly, a dangerous idea took root. What if the sun was not just a god? What if it was the only god? When Amenhotep IV became pharaoh, Egypt expected continuity. What it received was revolution. At first, the change was subtle. The pharaoh elevated Aten, the sun disk, above the other gods. Not replacing them, not yet. But the priests noticed. Aten had no animal form, a myth, no stories of death or judgment. Slighty, pure, universal, relentless, and that terrified them because a god without temples did not need priests. Then came the moment that shattered Egypt forever. The pharaoh changed his name. Amenhotep Amen is satisfied was dead. In his place stood Akhenaten, servant of Aten. With that single act, he rejected the god Amen and everything Egypt had worshipped for over 1,000 years. And then he went further. Temples were closed. Offerings were banned. The names of old gods were hacked from stone walls. Statues were smashed. Images defaced. Amen, once king of the gods, was hunted down in reliefs and inscriptions like a criminal. This was not reform. It was erasure. Akhenaten was not introducing a new god. He was killing the old ones. The priesthood fought back not with armies, but with silence. They withdrew loyalty. They whispered fear into the population. And Akhenaten responded with something unprecedented. He abandoned Egypt's sacred capital. He ordered an entire city to be built in the desert. A city with no history, no gods, west. He called it Akhenaten, the horizon of Aten. It was a city designed not for humans, But for sunlight, no dark temples, no hidden sanctuaries, only open courtyards where the sun could touch everything. Even art changed. For the first time in Egyptian history, the royal family was shown as human. Akhenaten with a long skull, soft body, a strange, almost fragile appearance. He embraced this new identity. Or perhaps it consumed him. At his side stood Nefertiti. Beautiful, powerful, mysterious. She was not a silent queen. She ruled beside him, worshipped beside him, smote enemies in carvings like a king. Some believe she was a true believer. Others believe she was something more dangerous. A co-architect of the revolution. Suddenly, she vanished from history. No clear death, no burial, only silence. While Akhenaten gazed at the sun, Egypt began to fall apart. Foreign enemies advanced. Allies begged for military aid. Letters poured into the palace. Desperate pleas for help. Akhenaten ignored them. He had no time for war. He was building heaven on earth. Meanwhile, famine spread. Trade collapsed. The people whispered that the gods were angry. Perhaps they were right. Akhenaten died in obscurity. No grand tombe. No triumphant inscriptions. Almost immediately, everything he built collapsed. The old gods returned. The temples reopened. And Egypt did something brutal. They erased him. His name was forbidden. His city abandoned. His statues destroyed. He became known only as the enemy king. It was as if he had never existed. But history remembers what power tries to forget. Today, Akhenaten stands as the first ruler to attempt true monotheism. A man who believed he alone saw the truth. Was he a visionary or a madman? A prophet or a warning? Because when one man decides he knows the only true God, the gods are not the only ones who die.